Excellencies, honorable assistants, all protocols observed, dear children and youth, I am delighted to join you today for the 42nd Ordinary Session of the African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. This biannual session is a key opportunity to take stock of the current situation of children's rights in Africa and a strong moment to recall the urgent need to eradicate all forms of violence against children, especially harmful practices such as child marriage and female genital mutilation. Africa has been one of my top priorities since I took my position. I have so far engaged with more than 40 African countries, providing support and guidance and sharing promising practices. I visited Chad, Niger, Ethiopia, Morocco, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and Kenya, and upcoming visits and sub-regional forums are being planned. My office continues to work closely with the African Union Commission, the African Committee, the Regional Economic Commission, civil society, religious and traditional leaders, children and youth in the region. Based on these ongoing engagements, let me share with you a few points. First, ending violence against children cannot wait. Violence against children worldwide and in Africa is a major concern. It is exacerbated by pre-existing and ongoing crises such as the global financial crisis, long-lasting and new conflicts, widespread violence, political instability, the climate crisis, huge forced displacement, social inequalities, food insecurity, poverty, gender discrimination, and remaining harmful practices. Child marriage and FGM remain at a high rate in Africa. Nearly 140 million girls and women have undergone FGM, while over 40 million girls and women are exposed to both child marriage and FGM. Numbers are projected to escalate given the high population growth rates in countries with high prevalence. Despite reiterated commitments and ongoing effort, strong challenges remain in terms of effective implementation due to weak capacities, lack of resources, lack of reliable and updated data, lack of monitoring and accountability. Only a small minority of child victims come forward to seek help or advice. They face many barriers, including stigma, shame, and the lack of reliable channels to report violence that they suffer. Most of this violence remain underreported and underprosecuted. Most victims and survivors do not get the support they need or the justice they deserve. Children and societies are paying a huge tribute as violence has devastating and lifelong consequences for the health and well-being of children. 2. Investing in ending violence makes economic sense. The human and economic costs of violence against children are huge, but the economic benefits of investing in child protection, development, and well-being are even bigger. Exposure to any form of violence causes immediate and long-term physiological and psychological damage, which could cost up to 393 US billion annually. Violence preventions make economic sense. Ending violence against children will save as much as 8% of global GDP and up to 5% of national GDP for some countries in Africa. Ending child marriage could save up to 17 billion a year by 2030. And if all children, boys and girls, completed their schooling, national productivity income would increase by between 4% and 14%. If no action is taken to end FGM, the total cost for 2020 to 2030 will be about 1 billion USD for the Arab states and sub-Saharan Africa, with Asia requiring another 2.3 US billion. Investing in children from an early age and through a life cycle approach makes economic sense and is vital for resilient, sustainable human and economic growth. It is even more relevant than ever in Africa, as Africa is the youngest continent in the world. One of Africa's most valuable assets resides in its young human capital. Third, it's time to shift the paradigm. Bearing in mind the cross-cutting nature of violence and its driver, we need to move from siloed actions and strategies that are not duly implemented to a cross-sectoral child-sensitive violence protection and prevention services that are an integral part of the national and local development plans. We need to ensure all stakeholders are collaborating effectively to end violence against children. We must work together to raise awareness, to engage in joint advocacy, and to share the knowledge and tools needed to keep children safe. Partnership is the only path to success. We need partnerships at different levels, linking global, regional, national, and local actions. We must assure partnerships between different sectors, linking health, mental health, child protection, education, justice, and social protection, among others. And we must support partnerships between different kinds of actors, linking national authorities, civil society, formal and informal providers, and of course, children themselves. Cooperations need to move from donor-driven approach to a context-specific, results-oriented and mutual partnership that fosters South-South, North-South and triangular cooperation. Religious and community leaders, as well as faith-based organizations, are also a crucial constituency. They are well placed to act as persuasive and influential advocates for children's protection from violence. They also have a key role in raising awareness and mobilizing local communities and families, as they are often the most interconnected and grassroots of all social organizations. As we rightly say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes the same village to protect that child. Honorable assistants, ending violence against children, including harmful practices, cannot wait, as it is key to achieve Agenda 2030 and the African Agenda 2040 and 2063. Therefore, the global and regional momentum towards ending child marriage and FGM has never been stronger, with several resolutions by the UNGA and the Human Rights Council urging countries to increase investments in eliminating this practice. And I commend the African Committee and the African Commission on Human and People's Rights for the joint adoption of the General Comment on FGM that will be launched on 10 November. This is a milestone document that should reinforce the outcome of the African Union FGM conference last October that highlighted again the urgent need to invest on the prevention of violence and in investments in children from an early age in a whole community approach. Investing in children means also involving and empowering them as part of the solution. In the African Children's Summit held in April last year in Nairobi, children reiterated strongly that they need to be seen, heard, and engaged to address the overlapping crisis the continent is facing. I commend the African Union for launching their first child participation platform last June, and African member states that are engaging children at local and national level, seeing them as part of the solution. Children are taking amazing initiatives like getting together to raise awareness at their community level and to create online applications to report and prevent violence against children, including child marriage and FGM. We must then create more opportunities and safe pathway for children to be part of the decisions that affect their lives and to be real agents of change of an Africa fit for children. Thank you, and I wish you all a fruitful session.